Hi everyone, welcome once again to the 24-bit podcast, and we are recording. This is our 51st episode, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so on episode 51 we are going to discuss something that has happened recently in our market, and mostly it connects our market with global markets, the international markets. And for those of you who've been following what Nixon and Dickson have been updating on their blogs, you're aware that Safaricom recently introduced a payments card on M-Pesa. A while back, Safaricom announced that M-Pesa was going global, and for the longest time now, I think around 2 years, we've had M-Pesa global, and they've kept on adding options and features to M-Pesa global, and the latest one is a new payments card. We are going to discuss a lot more about that payments card. And as usual, I've already mentioned their names, but we are better off hearing from them. I have the usual suspects.
Dickson, Otieno, techish.com.
And I'm Kanali from Chenze.
Now, you can read what I write occasionally on androidkenya.com. First things first, what is this M-Pesa virtual card? Who can tell us? Say you are listening to this podcast for the first time. You've probably heard about the M-Pesa virtual card, but here's a good chance to let our audience know what exactly is it. Is it some card I can go somewhere and get it? What is it?
The main thing about the new M-Pesa card is that it's virtual, so you can only access it using the M-Pesa Super app. So yeah, it's a card that's tied to your M-Pesa bank account that checks out on international platforms as a Visa card. So on the M-Pesa app, you get to sign up and get a virtual card with a number and a dynamic code for checking out. So you can use it as a Visa card online, but it's just tied to your bank to your M-Pesa account.
Yeah, I mean basically, you know, the same way we have the physical card, the physical, for example, ATM or Visa card. Now, for this case, this is a virtual card that is embedded. It's within your M-Pesa app. And how it works, you don't really have to top it up separately. The way, for example, like for the physical card, you actually need to maybe have money in your account. Now, for this particular virtual card, the money you have in your M-Pesa account is actually the same amount of money
that's now you can operate with your card.
Yeah, with your card, exactly.
Good. So how does one access? I know you've talked about it's in the M-Pesa Super app, blah blah. Anyone who can walk us through? I know this is not a video, yeah. But if someone is listening, how do they get to access this virtual card?
Currently, you need to have the M-Pesa Super app. It's called the M-Pesa app. So you just go to Play Store or App Store. If you're on iPhone, you look for M-Pesa, sign in. Then you go to the Grow section of the app. Under the Grow section of the app, you'll find something called Globalpay. It will open as a mini app, so it launches, and then you sign up. First of all, you accept the terms. You sign up. You'll get an SMS telling you that you've signed up. Then you activate your card after choosing how you want it to look like. Yes, it's virtual, but you can customize how it looks in the app. So after choosing the customizations on how you want it to look like, you'll get an a message from Globalpay giving you your card number and when it expires. Then after that, you can start using the card.
There's also an option to customize.
Yes, you can actually customize.
You can have some very nice images around the country. My only gripe is the color section. When you are going with the color options, only the black looks good.
Yeah, I'm actually even using the black.
Only the black looks good. I don't know why they don't like us. We like other colors so much. But as for the images, you can pick any. They all look good. There's one with Mount Kenya. There's one with those craters over on the mountains, the big fires. Yeah, it's all nice.
Wish you could customize it and walk to a Safaricom shop and get the physical thing. I know it won't make sense, but yeah, you can get a physical thing because we're going to discuss the dynamic CVV. But if you could get a physical one with no CVV, so you only get the CVV from the app.
Yeah, you actually mentioned the big five. I remember us attending. It was interesting how Safaricom and Visa chose Olpejeta as the launch for this particular product. And actually, they were saying the reason why they chose Olpejeta is because how the ranch, the conservancy is actually not ranch, it's a conservancy. it's associated with the big five. And you also have Visa. I mean, as in your Visa card, if you have one, you can always check the other card. Is it, the big five somewhere in there? So they actually thought Peugeot was a good spot to actually take the launch there.
Never had a Visa card except the original Airtel Money card with Chase Bank. But
good thing you brought that up, because for the longest time, I think some of us have wanted M-Pesa to have a card along the lines of the Airtel card. Now we finally have a card. It's not as physical as the Airtel card, but it's virtual. Now, here's the thing, how it works, much as it's a virtual card, but how it works, at least, and we'll discuss our experiences and how it works in another episode, but how it works is an exact mirror of how the Airtel Money worked. Card worked, and that was
the Airtel Money card.
The Airtel Money card was tied to your Airtel Money bank or Airtel Money balance.
Basically, what the card gave you was a card number and a CVV and an expiry date that you could feed wherever you needed to feed it to use payments. Say that's online, and offline you could swipe it or tap and pay somewhere. That's it. So and that was helpful since there are like 5 Airtel agents in the whole of Nairobi. So that used to be useful because you'd want to pay with Airtel Money. Na sasa Airtel Money mpaka uende Narok kupata an agent. You just you swipe or tap and pay. That worked. Now the Safaricom card that existed at the time is the collaboration they had with I&M Bank. The little children listening to this podcast might not know what that was, but it was called what, the Safari card or something.
But you had to top it up.
It had been around for a while, but it didn't work like the Airtel card. You needed to top it up separately. How it came to be called the M-Pesa card, I don't know. It's just because at those very early days the technology was very rudimentary, so it being you being able to top it up via M-Pesa made it qualify to be an M-Pesa card. Beyond that, it was just a nice Safaricom logo, a nice M-Pesa logo, and that's it. Because every other card that we've used, you can top it up via M-Pesa.
Exactly.
That is prepaid, right? The NCBA ones, all those. We were discussing about Loop in our last episode. Those kinds of things. But the Airtel one, the card was just a manifestation of your Airtel Money account. So whatever you had in your Airtel Money was what was on the card. Kama Airtel Money yako haina pesa, the card is also empty. Now that's the experience you are getting on the M-Pesa virtual card, which makes it nice to have because it's seamless. So if my M-Pesa has 1,000 bob, that's also what the card has.
Yes, exactly.
And that's it. And that's what I can spend. I don't need to remember to top up. I don't need to cram some number or add it to the Safaricom apps, bill manager, nothing. Like that kind of seamlessness is nice to have. Now, we've already dissected that it's virtual. So if you've read some of the coverage you've done over the years, you'd remember there are other virtual cards in the Kenya market, right? Cellulant has TIN.
TIN.
Before they named it TIN, what was it called? Mula?
Well, I think it was. It was.
Yes, it was Mula. Mula app. Yes.
Now, when they did the rebrand to Ting, they also brought along virtual cards. Anyone who's used it?
I've never used them.
And of course,
I see.
Butter by Flutterwave.
Butter by Flutterwave.
Not actually, please just don't try.
I know someone who used Ting, and they're actually quite really impressed.
They're quite tinged.
I mean, they are quite tinged. It was actually actually I saw my girlfriend using one. I'm like, oh, okay, and she was actually impressed because of
pro tip, if you're listening to this, Nick has a girlfriend. Anyway. And then Butter by Flutterwave.
There is this other. The branding is meant to look like PayPal, but it reads people. PYPL.
Is that?
I've seen people. It's also a virtual card.
Yes.
About Butter by Flutterwave, the last time I used them, there are too many issues. Please don't use them. So like it's a good time. Good thing is the things that used to motivate us to gravitate towards virtual cards are slowly being negated by the day. First, Spotify came to Kenya, and I think we've discussed that in a previous episode. And now we no longer need to create a virtual addresses somewhere in Fremont Street to say we are in the US so that you can use Spotify. And now with the M-Pesa virtual card, we can pay for Netflix and not have to worry about some of those.
Good Chura virtual card.
Chura.
I can see even EcoBank have a virtual card. So there are a couple of companies offering virtual cards, but I think.
But the interesting bit is, if I'm hearing, other than Ting and Bata, I'm just hearing about those for the first time today. So if you're listening to this podcast and you've been a user of those other virtual cards, you share with us your experience, and we'll feature it in our next episode, because our next episode we'll discuss our own experiences with the M-Pesa virtual card.
Like to know, for example, what their thoughts are on M-Pesa's implementation versus what they've been using.
Yes. Now we've dissected the virtual bit of the M-Pesa virtual card. It's not just virtual. There are other features too, and we've already talked about the fact that it's a reflection of what's on your M-Pesa, so you don't need to remember to top up. What other feature will be enticing? Say I already use some other virtual card, and I'm okay where I am. What will make me want to come to use the M-Pesa virtual card? Is it just any other virtual card, now that we've said there are several?
I think for me, the main feature, if I were using another virtual card, would be the fact that all other virtual cards need top up.
Yes.
I need to transfer money from one point to the other, and that transfer can incur costs.
Yes.
So the good thing about the M-Pesa app is, as long as I have money on my M-Pesa, or the M-Pesa virtual card, as long as I have money there, I can do a transaction online. And even better is the fact that the transactions are quite large, but for some those could be a drawback, because the maximum transaction is 150,000 and you can do it only twice to 300,000 per day. But the fact that I don't have to transfer money to use the card is a big plus for me.
I think for me it has to be, the whole idea of me getting a new CVV after every 30 minutes. Yeah, how many times, for example, I mean, the other time we were discussing, about the banking apps in Kenya. I remember mentioning how, a while back my Stanbic card was compromised, and I mean, we've even seen this on the, for example, on Twitter, even guys complaining online about how just somebody is able to access their CVV, and that's how the money was swiped from their account. Yeah, so the whole idea of me getting a new CVV every time I do a transaction, and also having to input my PIN afresh. That whole security feature is really works for me.
Yeah, we haven't discussed the CVV. The CVV is the 3 digits at the back of your physical card. So on the M-Pesa virtual card, the app shows you a new CVV every 30 minutes.
30 minutes, yeah.
Yes.
CVV is not short for Chagua Vile Vitu.
So this dynamic CVV ensures that even if somebody accesses the number of your card somehow, from say a text or whatever, you can be sure that they cannot transact because they don't have the current CVV. To access the new CVV, you need to go to the M-Pesa app, Globalpay, and
input
check,
your PIN.
Input your PIN and check for the new CVV. So every time you want to use your card, you'll need to input your M-Pesa PIN, which is a good security layer.
Interesting. So what's the catch? The money that's on my M-Pesa account is the money that the card uses, so I don't need to top it up, so I don't incur any transaction costs, anything. So as far as things stand, if I was paying 1,500 for Netflix on the premium tier, itachukuliwa to 1,500 straight from my M-Pesa, so I'm not losing any money. So what's the catch?
The catch is that there's a 3.5% forex fee, depending. I have used the card, and we will discuss this in the next episode, but depending on the checkout, there is a 3.5%.
And I think that's what
some checkouts
people
are
really
free.
Don't understand.
That's what Safaricom should be clear about, because some of my checkouts have been free. There's no charge. M-Pesa is not charged extra amount. The 3.5% fee is taken by whoever is accepting the transaction, I believe, because on my M-Pesa balance, I'm only charged the amount that I should see. The 3.5% fee comes on from the text from Globalpay. So it's still not clear how the 3.5% fee applies.
Yeah.
Because checking out on Uber Eats, which is a local platform, I incurred the fee. Checking out on another platform that's international, there was no fee. So that's still not clear. Yeah.
So that means there are chances the international forex fee is tied to
some of the platforms
and the payment processors. So that's where probably you'll get Uber Eats, because Uber Eats is Uber BV, which is the Netherlands. So some of those things. Now now we've moved away from what's the catch in terms of costs. What are some of the things you'd want me to know if I'm a potential user of this card? Like, where am I limited in using? Can I, for instance, show up on Jumia and check out using it?
Not really. I think even Safaricom and Visa were very clear that this card is meant for international payments. So Amazon shopping, if you want to pay, for example, for Netflix. So if you walk to Jumia, for example, or even walk to just any local shop or any local e-commerce site to purchase anything and pay with the card,
it will refuse.
Yeah, it will refuse.
It will refuse, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually meant for just international payments. Yes.
And I've noticed that it checks out on platforms that are local but with international checkout systems. For example, Uber Eats checks out with Uber BV Netherlands, so you can pay, but it will be more expensive than if you use Lipa na M-Pesa. So I think Safaricom wants local purchases to be used by Lipa na M-Pesa, which the transaction fees, depending if it's a pay bill or a till number, are free or a certain amount. But for international payments, they want you to use Visa, the Visa virtual card, because the solution here is you couldn't use M-Pesa internationally. You can already use it locally. Yeah.
In fact, in the press release they sent, they're saying the M-Pesa Globalpay Visa virtual card will be exclusive for international online payments outside the country to protect customers from incurring forex conversion costs on local online payments billed in Kenyan shillings.
Yes. So local, so that makes sense, because I was saying some of the international swipes I've made have no forex fee. So I think the forex fee, if you check out locally, there is a forex fee that because you're billing in Kenyan shillings and the Visa card thinks in US dollars, I believe. So there's a conversion that charges you extra fee, I believe. But we will get the answers to the questions in the next podcast.
Yeah, okay.
When setting up the card, when you opt in to Globalpay, one of the things you see they are presented as an option is to enable repeat payments.
Oh yeah.
And we have a dynamic
CVV.
Chagua Vile Vitu. How does the dynamic CVV and the recurring payments work? Because nitalipa Netflix this month, and then next month when Netflix is charging, it may change. Yeah. So how does that work?
They said once you've set up your card, there's the option for enabling repeat payment. You click on it and you agree to repeat payments, such that the app will store your data and that CVV that was used to enabling that payment. Yes. So it will store that so that anytime it is requested to do a payment, it cross-checks between the card number entered and the CVV and what it had already stored, so that your transaction just clears. So your Netflix monthly payment, Spotify doesn't count because there's M-Pesa. But if you use Spotify, if you have an app subscription on Play Store and all that, they will just pay themselves. Yes.
So as a user, I don't have to worry about
You
it.
don't have to worry about it.
Yes. The other good thing I found out that is when I've made a transaction, for example, on a platform internationally, I've entered the card number, went to the app, checked my CVV, I'll get a confirmation message both from M-Pesa and from Globalpay. Immediately the transaction is successful.
Yeah.
Yes. And it breaks down. This is the cost, this is the forex fee, and this is the platform you did the payment on. And if you did not do the payment, report to this number.
Are you able to download a receipt or something?
Not yet.
What are the limits? Can I just go ahead and buy a car from an international car auction using the M-Pesa virtual card?
No. Remember they're saying they said the transaction will be subject to the current M-Pesa limit of, is it
150,000 per transaction
or 300,000 per day at the prevailing forex rate. So
if you want to buy a car, you can do 2 transactions
today, another transaction
tomorrow, and another one
until
or you can use another platform. So you use M-Pesa as your top-up method, or you can use someone else. Which brings me to the fact that this you can only get one M-Pesa virtual card, even if you have 10 Safaricom numbers.
I don't get that. How is that?
So Safaricom knows all the numbers registered to your ID number. So an ID number is only given one virtual card.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
That's good for security.
Now,
I don't think so.
No, I think it is good for security because and makes it easier from a management point of view, though it's inconveniencing on the part of the user.
Because
someone will
if you
expect
have
to
300,000 on that M-Pesa line and another M-Pesa line, and
You
you
can
want
only
to
spend
clear 1 million a transaction of 1 million, you have to ask someone else to use their card.
Yeah.
But if they could be tied to different numbers, I could pay online wherever I wanted. Yeah.
Interesting. Super interesting. And so there's a limit to how much I can spend on my via the virtual card, and that's tied to the usual limits that apply to normal M-Pesa transactions, right? And the card is entirely debit. There's no credit, right?
Yes.
Maybe, by the way, it could be a good thing.
Yeah, you see, there's Fuliza.
Oh yeah.
Fuliza on the card. Imagine I want my Netflix is due and I don't have the 1500.
Yeah.
They did not explain if it could be tied to your Fuliza, which will be interesting.
Yeah, because imagine you're doing repeat payments and maybe that time because you don't have a
you have a
money.
zero balance.
Yes.
And Fuliza yako maybe ni 18k kama mtu mwingine niliona.
18,000.
Kuna watu Fuliza zao zimefika 18k.
Fuliza 18k. Okay, that's a whole other podcast episode.
You also need to have a podcast around Fuliza because
So I don't know. Maybe we can ask that. Will it Fuliza your M-Pesa balance for that? I don't know. Yeah.
because it's all within the entire
Because if it's
M-Pesa
tied to your
ecosystem.
M-Pesa nini it should. I don't know how it works.
Anyway, we'll
Now I'm in Kenya. Kesho nikipiga road trip nijipate huko Singida, Dodoma.
Now that's the beautiful thing.
Yes.
Provided you have internet access
you have the M-Pesa
to be
app.
able to see the dynamic CVV on your M-Pesa app, you should be able to check out.
Regardless of location.
Yes, because I mean with the new M-Pesa app, like you can use it in a different phone hata kama ina SIM card ya Safaricom.
Really?
Yes, sometimes
Sometimes,
it works.
yeah? Sometimes it works
it tells
actually,
you to you change your
Sometimes
SIM
it
card.
works because I remember when I was switching to a new phone, actually the other day, I could still use my M-Pesa app and I didn't have a SIM card on this phone.
Yes. Provided you checked in with the SIM card on that phone.
Yes,
But on a newer phone it won't.
Yeah.
So basically the same limit. Now, M-Pesa is not just M-Pesa in Kenya. What if somebody is listening to this podcast and they're in TZ and they use M-Pesa there?
So what Safaricom, what Sitoyo said during the launch, I remember, he was talking about how for now it's only available for customers in Kenya.
But since the super app is already available in other countries, they are planning
to roll it out, across other markets.
And you remember Safaricom said they are building a platform that M-Pesa will run. All transactions will be running from one platform across M-Pesa Africa. So you'll be able to do transactions with people across Africa who are on the M-Pesa platform. So I believe over time, Globalpay and M-Pesa will be running on one platform where I'll be able to send money directly using the similar transaction charges between different countries. Yeah. But for now, other countries, Tanzania, Ghana, I don't remember Mozambique.
In fact, they say the virtual card will initially be available to M-Pesa users in Kenya and will be rolled out across other M-Pesa markets throughout the M-Pesa Super App under strategic partnership between M-Pesa Africa and Visa.
Yes.
So these include Tanzania, DC, DRC, I mean, Mozambique, Lesotho, and
Ghana.
our friends from West Africa and Ghana.
Okay, that's all good. How long can I keep my M-Pesa virtual card? Like, for instance, in our last episode, we were discussing banking apps in Kenya. And one of the banking apps that we all like using is NCBA's Loop. And one of the things Loop has to offer is the card. And I remember telling you all that I'd recently just replaced my card. And I think some of you are due replacing. So do we have to replace this virtual card? Is it virtual? So it should be...
It actually, I saw it has an expiry date.
It's tied to the normal Visa timelines, which is, I think, 4 years or 3 years. Let me confirm my expiry date. Mine expires in 2025. Yes. So 2025 minus 2022, 3 years.
Yeah.
So it expires after 3 years, and it also is suspended after 6 months of use. So if you don't use it for 6 months, it's suspended.
Wow. That's interesting. So if you followed our instructions at the start of the podcast and went ahead and enabled, make sure you use it within by the end of the year, basically. If by the end of the year you've not used it, January ukianza mwaka mpya,
sign up tena.
That's super interesting. Now, for someone who's listening to this podcast, what's the other thing about the M-Pesa virtual card that they should know that probably we've not highlighted?
I think the important thing I've faced people asking is, how do I check out internationally?
Yeah.
Because people need to remember that this is a Visa card. It's an M-Pesa Visa card. So if you're checking out on a platform, say an e-commerce platform in the US, and you don't find the M-Pesa Globalpay option on that platform, it's because it is not on that platform. You need to check out with Visa. So if I am buying, say, a laptop from B&H, I will type my Visa card.
Yeah.
So on checkout, you will go to the card section. If they select between Visa, Master, you select Visa. Then you enter your M-Pesa virtual card number. Then you go to the app and check for the CVV. So there won't be an option on platform saying check out with Globalpay M-Pesa. You'll be checking out with Visa.
Okay.
Yes.
I think also a lot of the e-commerce platforms just automatically recognize when you start
Yes.
entering your card number, they
Will know whether it's
which
Visa
part of the
or
EMV universe it's coming from.
Yes.
I had a question and now I can't even remember it. So when setting up the virtual card, I saw there's a place tells me to set a limit. What the hell is that?
Yeah.
And someone reached out to explain to me from Safaricom that the limit is to help you know how much you spent on your card. But even if you surpass the limit, the card still checks.
Still checks out.
Because one of the limitations of some of these physical cards that we have, for instance, Loop has a hard limit of 100,000 shillings.
Yes.
Did you guys know?
Yes.
Yes.
You can set
You
the limit.
you can always extend it if you call them and make the request or write to them from the app.
yeah.
You can always extend it and then they'll give you a ceiling. Maybe it will stay the higher limit. Say you want to transact 200k, it will stay at 200k for a set limit. You tell them 48 hours, they'll keep it for 48 hours. 72
Then it
hours,
goes back.
they'll keep it to 72 hours. Then it goes back to the default 100k. Kina NCBA, I think they have a hard ceiling for 1M.
Yeah.
Kitkayo. Yeah. So the virtual card
Ceiling
is
150,000.
tied to the M-Pesa
Yeah.
M-Pesa one.
I see with my Absa card, like, I can't, like.
So my thinking was when you set limit it will be something like that, but now I know you can overrun it.
Yeah. Like for my Absa card, I'm only allowed to withdraw like 80k in a day from the ATM.
And you are a rich man, you need to withdraw $1 million, right?
$1 million shillings. I mean, something else I saw on the app. It's you can actually set budgets as well, which I think is something I've seen with Loop as well. Set budgets and showing card details. Remember when M-Pesa really introduced, how you can hide your M-Pesa balance. We're getting the same on the M-Pesa
when you
app.
access it, it hides the
so
details.
you can show, hide or show details. Of course, these details being, the card number and the CVC.
You can suspend the card immediately from the app.
CVV or
And
CVC.
CVV.
Yeah, you can.
CVC. Okay. Yeah.
And that cost estimator function, what is it for?
For example, it's for the forex fee. It shows you how the US is trading to the dollar at that particular time. Yes.
Like I'm just trying to put
So if you wanted to spend, say, 50 USD, it will show you that's 6,050 shillings right now.
exactly. Like right now, I'm just trying to input 100 USD. That's
And
12,000.
I'm
12,000.
going through the TNCs and I can see there's also an option to access some of the card details via shortcode.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
they said you will be able to access it via *324 hash.
344.
344 hash, I believe, yes. But they haven't raised it to be accessible, maybe. It's a good thing because sometimes you'll want to use the card somewhere and you don't have internet access.
Yeah.
The answer to can Fuliza be accessed on the card is available on the FAQ. Presently, Fuliza will not be available for Global Pay card payments.
Oh.
So, yeah.
There goes. You can't Fuliza.
Can Fuliza from your card. I think that's good. Yeah.
What have we left out? I have so many other follow-up questions, but a lot of those are questions that I'm going to answer myself as I continue to use the card, and which you're going to help me answer in our next episode when we are discussing your individual experiences using this card. So if you're listening to this podcast and you already started your journey with the M-Pesa virtual card, we are interested in hearing from you what your experiences are. We are only three of us, so we have very limited, unique use cases and experiences. So we want to increase our pool, and we'll be learning a lot from the feedback that you share, and use it in the next podcast to dissect the experiences. We'll share our own, and if there are any that have come from you, we'll also share them here for the benefit of everyone who listens to this. That was great. Thank you for listening in. I'm Chenze Emmanuel, and I'll see you in the next one. I've been with
Dickson, Otieno,
and Kanali from Tech Trends.
See you
on the next one.